Some books give advice and some books give direction if you're willing to listen. If there's one book that I recommend to anybody at any point in time, it is always this book. So this book is The Alchemist. I bought copies of this book for friends. I recommend it at any chance that I can get. I've sparked conversations with strangers over this book if I see them reading it. This isn't a traditional book review. I kind of want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the summary and the synopsis and overarching themes of this book, but I am going to reflect on how this book has helped me in my life. If you've ever been on the fence with reading this book, I hope that this is kind of your sign to grab it off of the shelves and pour yourself into it and give it a try. So this book is about a young shepherd boy. His name is Santiago. He has these consecutive dreams. It's the same dream that he has twice, and he kind of takes that as a sign that he really needs to actually follow what this dream is. And that dream is to find his treasure, which happens to be, he's from Spain all the way in Egypt, so he has to figure out how to get there. And along the way, Santiago, big bird flying. We are right on the path to MCO right now. Along the way, Santiago, of course, like any good story, any good fable, there are setbacks. There are lots of challenges. He meets really important guides in his life. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but book, it basically, we're following our dreams, but also at the end of the day, at the end of our journey, it's the journey within, and that our treasure is already within us. This story, it's about following our dreams. So your dream, your personal legend, your purpose, overcoming fear on that journey, and also that the universe will align with you every step of the way if you are brave enough to chase what truly matters to you. In the last 5 years, I've really been drawn to this book. 5 years ago, this book spoke to me because I was in a season of my life when I knew deep down that the career that I was currently in was one that no longer served me. It served its purpose, but it wasn't giving me what I needed. But the fear of the unknown really, really held me back from making any decisions. I knew I needed to make this decision. I was extremely afraid of making this decision. Instead of quitting my job, I booked a 2-week
What was that?
It was a beat.
Okay.
Or I don't even know.
Yeah, okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah, I did get all
Okay,
that.
cool.
I'm not stopping.
I know. So at this time, instead of jumping into this life-changing decision of changing my careers and quitting this job that offered me security, I booked a trip.
A plane?
I booked a plane ticket.
Jeez.
Round trip. It wasn't one way, but it was a solo trip to Vietnam. I had always been very drawn to Vietnam as well. So I was trying to take parallels from the book and just go out on an adventure and hoping that it would give me a little bit of clarity when I got home. And it did. That trip around Vietnam showed me how capable I was of handling things on my own and making decisions and trusting myself, and also putting my trust in the universe that everything is going to be okay. Inspired by that book's message, so I opened myself up to that journey, met incredible people along the way, strangers who became immediate friends. It's such a special experience to go on a trip alone because you meet other people that are also alone. So immediately you have this connection and this bond. And like I said, I unlocked these parts of myself that were so hidden and so covered that I didn't even know existed until I put myself in that situation. That trip really, it allowed me the opportunity to learn that trusting the universe also means trusting myself. That two-week trip, like I said, it opened up all of these different opportunities and these possibilities within myself because I finally was brave enough to put my trust in the universe, and ultimately that trust came back into me. When I did return home, something had definitely shifted from that trip. I created an actionable plan to get myself out of the job that I was currently in and into a job that was going to ignite my passion, which is helping others achieve their health and fitness through personal training. It took me 19 more months to actually have my last day at that job, but if it weren't for putting myself out there and going on this trip and really asking myself these hard questions and being brave enough to kind of follow my journey as it unfolded in front of me, I would have been there. I might even still be there. So fast forward to present day, and there was a big moment in my life that kind of pulled me back to this book, The Alchemist. And it was a breakup. It was heartbreak. It's funny how life has a way of kind of circling you back into stories that we need most when we need them most. Again, this time it wasn't about my career or about travel. It was about losing somebody that I cared about, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a future that I imagined, and the loss of who I was at that time. So the ending was very sudden. It was very painful. But I found myself very disoriented and disconnected, that I had lost not only someone I loved, but also a sense of direction. So I saw this book on my shelf. I have it laid out amongst like 10 of my most favorite books. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time that I read this book again. And it was spot on again. The lessons about fear, the lessons about faith, the lessons about personal legend, they just hit so much differently this time around. Love wasn't just a theme in the story, it became something I had to re-examine for myself. What it means to love somebody, to let go of somebody that you love, and to keep moving forward with an open heart, because it's very hard to move forward with an open heart after heartbreak. Reading this book reminded me that even heartbreak is part of the journey. The treasure is never just at the end of the journey, but it's who we become along the way. So having read this book at two completely different times and different chapters of my life, one that was in search of freedom and another as a 31-year-old in the middle of heartbreak, it taught me something I didn't expect, that the journey back to yourself is never actually done. And we put ourselves out there into these different situations and we have these different experiences, and everything kind of sits with us, and the journey coming home is the journey coming back to ourselves. It's ongoing, it's layered, and it's gonna be the work that we'll be doing for as long as we're walking this earth. Sometimes, unfortunately, that journey, it does require losing things. It requires losing people, maybe losing parts of yourself in order to rediscover what actually truly matters to you. This book reminded me that fear it's all part of the process, but it doesn't have to control the outcome. And that is a really big lesson that I'm actually working through in so many different facets of my life. Love should support your becoming. Love should never hold you back. It should always be a pillar. It's a foundation, and it should support who you are becoming on your journey. And that partnership is something that walks side by side you. The universe has its way of guiding you, even through silence, even through endings, if you're willing to listen. So if you're going through your own season of doubt, loss, or transitionary period in your life, I hope that the story in The Alchemist, and then my story as well, kind of reminds you that you're never doing this alone. You're not alone. The path forward might not be clear just yet, but you're already on it. That's the beauty in it. The path forward isn't clear, but the beauty is that you're actually already on that path forward. Maybe, just maybe, the treasure isn't waiting somewhere halfway around the world, super far away from you. Maybe the treasure is already within you, and it's just waiting to be uncovered one step at a time. And I also want to hear about books that have come to you at the right time. If there's ever been something that you've read that felt like it was at the most perfect time in your life, drop it in the comments, because I would definitely love to hear about it and just add it to my to-be-read list. All right, thank you.